So guys, I'm at Ressence. Now, you'll recognise this guy, and in a moment I'm going to bother him about this brand, this fabulous brand. But I wanted to show you the boutique that they have. So we're in Geneva, Geneva Watch Days, and I want to give you a feeling of the aesthetic of this place. And it's actually really nice, and we're in this little meeting room. But I've forced Benoit to be in this room now because I'm so planned and I've arranged everything.
Yes.
What we may do is sit down,
Yes.
So that I can shove.
Sure.
I can shove this camera in front of you. So I will just switch the camera around right now. Okay, guys.
Good.
Because this is very on the fly, I want Benoit in focus more than me, so I apologise if you've got my legs.
But your belly.
Now let me preface. I've just walked in. I've badgered Benoit. I've forced him to sit down and talk to me. So. His body language, and if he asks me to leave, we know why.
Depends on the question.
Okay, I could create a question as an exit point.
Yes.
I won't go there. But I'm at Geneva Watch Days, and I'm basically a geek, and I'm so curious about wristwatches, and I've been to the other exhibitions, the Swiss-based, like Watches and Wonders, but Watches and Wonders I knew, and also I'm not an expert. I'm really a novice at this, but I looked at the brand names like MB&F and Moser, and all. In fact, everyone here has been lovely, and I think this format is so gracious and so helpful for brands to meet idiots like me.
Yeah.
But Benoit. In the main tent, I overheard you chatting, and then I linked you to Ressence because, of course, I have seen the Ressence watch before, and my engineering background tells me that making a watch like this is not. In fact, could you take that off because. So this is Benoit's own watch here, and guys, I don't know if you can see, but this. Now I'm going to let Benoit tell you about it, but look
It's
at
called
that.
Type 3.
Yes, in
That's
fact,
the name. So maybe you need to tell the name.
the name is
Type 3.
Type 3.
And the color is E. E for
Okay.
Eucalyptus.
Type 3 and E. There we go. But straight away, right. So all the watch guys out there are going to recognise this as Ressence. I think you really own this aesthetic. And I remember it was a few years ago now when I learnt it was oil filled. That really prompted my interest. But. In particular, Geneva Watch Days, you got my interest because I overheard your conversation and I thought, how dreadful is that? I'm joking. It was so interesting, and I thought, what a lovely environment to be in a position like Geneva Watch Days and be able to be there and represent your brand. But I overheard your story a little bit, and I wondered if you would tell me again a little bit about how you got to that.
Okay. So the Type 3 was introduced in 2013.
Yeah.
So the model is 10 years old.
Yeah.
We are today at the 5th generation of the Type 3, so it means that from the outside the watches look quite the same. But we have improved certain functionalities to make it easier to set the watch in 5 steps.
Yeah.
That's why it's 3.5 today. The Type 3 is the first watch I think ever made with a liquid inside, a mechanical watch with a liquid inside.
That's what I'm aware of, yeah.
Now we have two. We have Type 5 and Type 3,
Yeah.
but the Type 3 was the first one. We also had the happy chance that the Type 3 was elected at the Grand Prix de Genève when we introduced it.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that the Type 3 is oil-filled, there are other particularities, but that are more common to all the Ressence watches,
Yeah.
for those who know it a bit less. Ressence, the base patent we have is about the fact that the time is displayed by discs
Yes.
and not by loose hands.
Yeah.
And that all the discs and all the information is in one surface.
Yeah.
So it's coplanar. Everything's coplanar.
Yeah.
And that means that to work, of course, to indicate the time, all these informations need to turn around each other. Otherwise, you will have collisions.
Yeah.
So we have developed this system that we call ROX, Ressence Orbital System, convex system, that integrates all these functionalities. And on the Type 3, we have quite a few. So we start with the easy ones, that's the minutes, that's the biggest hand, like on all watches, because we follow a cognitive pattern to read the time like any other mechanical watch. The hours, so you will see that on this watch it is nearly 7 o'clock. It is
10 to
6, 6:50
Yeah.
about. So the position of the hands is similar to a normal watch.
That's right. Yeah.
Then there is another one with the red area here. This is the weekday. So the way we represent a week is with 2 weekend days.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a universal way to represent a weekend because you have cultures that have not always Saturday and Sunday, so you can choose.
Yeah.
And then you have the 5 working days. In front of you, when you wear the watch, you have the date. On this watch, it's the 11th.
Yeah.
But that's not today. And then this one is the temperature of the oil, because the particularity of the Type 3 is that it has oil, and oil, as any liquid, expands and contracts.
That's right.
Due to temperature changes.
That's right.
And so this watch also has a bellow system. So that is a system that will compensate for the variations in volume of the oil.
Expansion and contraction of the oil.
Indeed. And so why does it relate to a temperature indication? Is because these bellows, they have a maximum and a minimum capacity.
Right.
And so every Ressence watch, before we ship it out, is tested at 60 degrees Celsius for an hour. So it goes in the oven. We have an oven at 60 degrees. It runs for an hour. And then it goes immediately to have a thermal shock, immediately in the freezer for another hour.
Yeah.
And in that way, we can ensure that the bellow system is working perfectly.
Do you know, I'm a bit of a geek, so that bit of detail that Benoit has just explained to me has really captured my interest, because I know about contraction and expansion, and because I know that it's filled with oil, I have questions around the viscosity and also the properties of the liquid.
Yep.
Now, so like you have a power reserve, you also have a temperature gauge.
Yep.
Like a car.
Like a car engine, yes.
No, so I mean, I find that visual detail on the dial is the thing that would hook me straight into this. And I had noticed the temperature dial before, and I was very curious to know a bit more about that. But hopefully I got this on camera. For me, that is so. It's just so interesting. And does the power reserve feature here?
There's no power reserve.
Okay.
It's an automatic watch. All our watches are automatic.
It's automatic, of course.
So if you wear
yes.
them, they will wind. So it's not the most important information on an automatic watch.
And I'm going to sound very stupid here. Is the yellow hot or the yellow
the
is
blue is cold.
Yeah. So of course with this, now I can tell you this green colour is delightful. And that is absolutely. I feel like I want to just put it there. So hopefully we're in shot here, but
it's going to be small on your camera.
Okay. Let me put it. Hopefully, I've got that, and hopefully that's going to come across very good. But I can show images of this also. In fact, I'll capture them after this, so that you can see. But do you know? I heard someone explain that they had a smartwatch. And then they saw this, and this is their other mechanical watch, I was impressed. And this person lives in America in the technology field, and he was so impressed with. Anyway, but you can see, that is cool. Hopefully, I've got this on camera. I will get it on camera later anyway. But. Benoit, this is absolutely lovely. But when you were a child,
yes,
did you have this in your mind?
No, not at all.
Okay,
it's not in my DNA. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's not like a chicken that gets born and then immediately knows how to feed itself. So,
okay.
No, it's not in me. But I'm a product designer.
Right.
So before I did Ressence, I worked as a consultant in an industrial design company. So it is what's in my DNA is probably the fact I like products.
Right.
And so the reason why I was attracted to watches is because a watch is a very interesting product when it comes to the different and the holistic approach towards creative dimensions that you have. It's a very, very rich environment to create. There are not so many industries where it's so broad. The creative dimensions are so broad.
Yes.
To give you a few examples of that is of course you have the aesthetics. Every watch needs an aesthetical dimension, but even more important is the ergonomical dimension in the broadest sense of the word. What is your relation to the product?
Yeah.
How do you interact with it? How does it feel on you? How do you feel with it?
Yeah.
So there's also a psychological dimension on a product. Certainly when it is a product that is on you.
Yeah.
There is, of course, the technical creativity you can put in it. You can decide to take a standard movement, put 3 hands on it, but you can also decide, okay, how can I represent time in a better way? How can I present time in such a way that it is more efficient to read than a normal watch?
When I had it on my wrist, it felt I had mechanical artwork on my wrist, and I felt proud of it. I thought I would be spending all my day looking at my watch because I like the way it makes me feel.
There is, of course, the brand you need to design.
Yes.
And so there is a lot, and I'm just saying a few now.
Yes.
But there are a huge amount of dimensions that you can express yourself creatively.
Yeah.
For example, on this latest evolution of the Type 3, I also applied the font that we designed for Ressence. So we have our own font.
Right.
So the numbers, we already had them.
Yeah.
And then I decided to make a full font of it. So also words.
Right.
So you can write in Ressence font if you want.
Oh.
So these are small things, but
It's detail.
But it's important because the font that I designed for Ressence comes from the fact that all the numbers and the lines and everything is carved in, is milled in.
Right.
So you always have a round end because a mill is round.
That's
so when you
right.
mill it, and so the numbers also have a round end. So it comes from there. It's all very, very functional.
And of course, over time, it'll always be there.
What will be there?
After many, many years, colours can fade. But if you've machined the font into the material, it'll always be there.
Oh yeah. It's when you get the raw parts, they're already there.
Yeah.
They're filled up with luminous material, but they're there. It's physical.
Yeah.
It's not glued on.
Yeah.
Or printed on.
Yeah.
So that is really basically what attracted me to watchmaking is this very broad field in which the added value you can bring by being creative is huge.
Yes.
Very often we forget that.
Yeah.
How can you make a watch cheaper?
Yeah.
Well, that's by being creative.
Yes.
If you can have the same, let's say, effect,
Yeah.
but with less components, you have been creative.
Okay, but in defence of the cost of some watches, because my background is a little bit is engineering, I'm aware of the labour cost attached to making high quality machines, and these watches are very complicated. So from a business point of view, I know that the raw materials and the labour cost is going to be at a certain point, and it doesn't matter how creative you are. The thing needs to be made, and these are if you like.
But there are many dimensions there. Huh?
Okay.
The labor cost is one, but how do you design a component so that the labor is as short as possible?
Okay.
You need creativity for that.
Yes.
How do you produce a component so that you need the least amount of material to make it?
Yeah.
So this is all being creative. You need to think, okay, how can I design this product with this result?
Yeah.
In such a way, I need shorter production times, less material. But the factors that cost you money.
Yeah.
And depends on the industry you are in. There are industries where labor cost is high. There are other industries where because of the industry, there's not much labor.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the field you're in. And for us, Ressence watch, it's the main cost for us is the milling of the parts, not because of the parts, because of the machine. Our cost is so
skill
high
and effort. Yes.
These machines are so expensive
Yeah.
that our price is higher than the labor cost, even in Switzerland. Can you imagine?
Gosh.
So this is really for us the focus. If we can make, I've never been that far. I'm in the luxury now that I don't need to really start to think about this cent or this half euro I can take off.
Yeah.
But it's for sure that at some point, if you have, for example, the friends from Psycho, I can tell you any little cent they can squeeze out, they will squeeze it out. That's where their margin goes.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like, obviously, you need to be have the freedom. But sometimes I've said to businesses in the past, build the object or the service that you want to deliver to your customer, and don't scrimp and save because it might devalue what you're offering. Amount the materials and labour cost, and let that determine your price point. But of course, not necessarily watches, because I think there's other dynamics that make people buy the watch. But sometimes you have a different product, and so you have to design and build to a price point, obviously. But I think in watches, I imagine it's a lot more different. It's harder.
Well, we have different models in the range.
Yeah.
They don't have all the same price.
That's right.
And that's a choice that you make. You say, okay, my target is about this price range for this product.
Yeah.
That means that you can do things and that you cannot do other things.
Yeah.
And so this is a choice you make. And
Yeah.
from there, but that's a normal way to proceed.
Yeah.
For some watches, what it does is more important than the price. For other watches, what it costs is more important than what it does.
Yeah.
So it's really this finding this balance. Cost prices is an important dimension.
But I suppose this is just my opinion. Because I like watches and because it's my opinion, I think you are purchasing. You're purchasing something that you're very passionate about, and the story attached to it. So I find myself justifying these prices, but I suppose that's very personal to me.
I'll give you another point.
Yeah,
it's a lot more easy to make an expensive watch than a cheap watch.
Okay, yeah.
It's a lot more complicated to do simple than do complicated.
Gotcha. Yes.
And the difference between those two is creativity.
Yeah.
And so I believe that a good designer can make a balanced approach towards all these dimensions, all these specifications that you need to have when you approach a product design.
Gotcha.
And so yes, I really believe that. Yeah, well, you see many brands, many watches here.
Yeah.
Why is a certain watch with the same functions like 3 times the price than another one that does the same?
Yeah.
Why? It's because the guy that can make it cheaper, he was more intelligent. He could go more to the point than the other one, maybe or not. I don't know. Using gold is not always the explanation in the price difference. So it's really this. I think we undervalue the added value of creativity in the industry sometimes.
Okay. Well, this is certainly creative. I can't think of another watch that is even similar. And I like it, and Benoit, it's why I'm here. And
thank you.
Thank you very much. I feel really appreciate. I really appreciate the fact I grabbed you and forced you to talk to me.
That's okay. You're welcome. That's why I'm here. Right?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.